challenge of partnering with consumers, boy, do we have work to do. Figuring out the best ways to connect with people. The fact that Alan wants to get a phone call and Kathy wants us to text her. Big chance for healthcare to become much more personal and individual, just as every other industry is going through. I mentioned reporting quality and cost externally and supporting healthy choices. And then finally, nobody thinks twice about the fact that I can go to a U.S. bank ATM and use my Wells Fargo card to get money out. Well, we have not historically had that kind of a simple system of information exchange behind the scenes in healthcare. And it's definitely where we're headed in the future. Paperless plan, you don't like those explanation of benefits that you get from your health plan in the mail. We don't like to send them to you. They're expensive, they're regulated, so they have to have all kinds of nasty language in them, like this is not a bill, and you wonder, what the heck did I get this for? So, the easiest thing is to have that happen online. And you can delete it before you even look at it. Online billing and payment record maintenance, electronic claims now up above 90%, and still more to do. So in our case, I always put this in because the rhetoric in the political world is administrative expenses are 20%. Well, they're not. At least not here in our state, not for our plan. Our administrative costs are 5.5%. Our margin is 2.5%, or slightly under. That's not 20%. And on top of that, we have another 2% that we pay to the state for various state healthcare programs. So we don't directly pay taxes, but they call them assessments. And to us, they feel just like taxes because we're writing the same big check. And by that check totals about $70 million. So it's interesting. I do think Minnesota is somewhat unique, having had a chance to hear a little more about other parts of the country. But I also like to correct the record when I can. So real healthcare reform, do we need to have healthcare for all? Yes, we do. Do we have to grapple with this challenge of more affordable healthcare? You bet. Because it doesn't matter if you're paying your $20 as a copay or paying your $1,000 deductible or your employer's paying the bill or the state's paying the bill or you're paying it in taxes. At the end of the day, we have not solved the problem of affordable healthcare for America. And you might feel insulated from it if it's out of your taxes instead of your pocketbook directly, but it doesn't change the picture that we've got a lot of work to do to deliver the value that I think most people want to get on healthcare in the country. So, I'll make like 5 minutes worth of comments about the Itasca jobs and economic development work, and then we'll stop and whatever questions you've got. So I mentioned that was a big effort for Itasca project, actually working with High Tech Association as a partner in this effort, looking at what's good and what's not so good about our environment for job growth. And we decided pretty quickly that you could argue a long time about taxes, but that there are a lot of advocates for changing the tax structure and the tax system in our state. We weren't going to be one of them. But we get to look at Medtronic's and Target's experience when site selectors were looking at where to locate new branches, new facilities, new manufacturing plants, and Twin Cities didn't even get on the list. And it wasn't because of where our tax situation is. It was because we don't have our act together well enough to actually respond effectively to a significant RFP. And we spent all our time fighting between Minneapolis and St. Paul, Bloomington and Eagan. We don't have a regional capability for economic development. So one of the responses is we better build that. Other regions have. Some have really paid off. Kansas City, the Allegheny Group, Austin, Texas. Huge payoff for having a privately operated and funded system to address regional economic development from the perspective of retaining business, growing business, and attracting business. I think we've done a decent job on retaining, although you may even argue with me about that. But in terms of attracting and growing, we are falling short. So that's one major focus area. The other is tax credit this legislative session was an early win for a whole group of organizations working together, but we'll be doing quite a bit more work with the University of Minnesota in terms of entrepreneurship and converting great ideas to business realities, and then trying to expand it from there to include better business bridges, better support from existing businesses to startups. So a lot more to come on that story, but that's, I think, it's nice to see a couple of concrete ideas that you think could actually become real and add value. And of course, an organization like HealthPartners, completely rooted in the community here, really benefits, I think, from a business perspective as well as a quality of life perspective if we have a thriving economy. So it's one of the reasons we're most interested in that. So I'll stop and if you have questions.
You know what, I think we probably have time for maybe one question or two because we're kind of
Sure. So our hospital does not have organized nurses, so we are not being strapped, which maybe gives me a better, at least a less emotional place to come from commenting. You know, I guess I would have to say this. I think it's a very tough situation. The new union has clearly had to put a stake in the ground to demonstrate greater value for nurses here than the previous union did. So that's a challenging dynamic to begin with. I think individual hospitals have had some challenges with staffing and nurse ratios. But putting those in labor agreements is a very expensive way to go about doing it. You can't help but think of auto industry. You can't help but think of all of the places in the economy where you start to lock work rules and the structure of the work into the labor agreement freezes any kinds of productive change. And I have to say I don't see examples of poor quality in Minnesota. I see Minnesota as a high quality state, and others do as well in terms of hospital care. And nurse staffing ratios have not, I believe fully with the hospitals who are saying this, have not been shown to make a difference in quality outcomes. So I think it's going to be a really, really rough road to resolve those labor issues.
I think there probably are a ton of questions that we could keep you here for a long time, but we have a certain time limit on it. Thank you, Mary, so much. Let's give her a